Yeah, cut that. That's, I don't know why it doesn't come through X very well. Yeah, man, you're loud and clear. No, no, that's crazy because it sounded good when we tested. Thank you, my friend. You know, I just thought of something, Mr.
Mr.
Logos
Logos
account.
account.
Chair.
Chair.
Okay.
Okay.
You
You
have
have a really
nice radio voice. So I'm going to give you that. You know, I don't know. I feel like also voices naturally grow on you, and you get to evolve a proper radio voice, right? And that just happens over time. I happen to have a little bit of West Texas twang to add into the mix, which should make it a little fun, right? You never thought cypherpunk and Texas would go hand in hand, but alas, weirder things have happened, my friends. So yes, thanks. And also thanks for mentioning, Chair, Logos Base Camp and talking about the tech. I like super excited about where we're at with the ability for people to come in and start building and playing around with testnet, you know, jiving with it. I was just talking to somebody. I had coffee with a friend of mine named Hunter. He has a company called Tiny Cloud, and a really good guy. He was at PS. He's based here in Lisbon, and we chatted quite a bit about the tech at Logos. He's going to play around with it and see what his team can do. Maybe they can build something on top of it or somehow combine forces. Anyway, he's going to get back to me, and I'll connect him to you guys, and we'll see how it works out. So it should be a lot of fun. Well, guys, we're so happy to be back in the mix. By the way, I don't know if Chair mentioned this or not. We are live in the studio as well, as per usual. So if you want to see our familiar mugs, you're welcome to click on the link, which does exist somewhere on the internet. We will find said link. We will ascertain link and add it to the chat. So you can click on the button, add it to X somewhere in the nebulous void that is X. Let me see if I can fix my mic here. Thanks, my friend. Cool. All right. Well, let's go ahead and boot this up. Enough bloviating. Okay, I had to say it. Jeez, that's just where we're at right now. Okay. Disclaimers, guys, as per usual. So number one is any of the ideas, thoughts, philosophies, aberrant notions that we share as part of this space are not necessarily affiliated with the Logos brand, identity, makeup, or setup. Instead is the product of our own minds, right? So that's your family-friendly legal disclaimer. Number two, if we happen to mention any cryptocurrency projects, whether they're friends, allies, or enemies, please do your own due diligence. Don't just ape or YOLO into whatever random shitcoin that you find online. If you do, I mean, do it at your own peril. We don't really talk about or advocate technical analysis here, right? And then YOLOing into coins, because that's just astrology for dudes, as we've said a couple of times in the space. All right, cool. So the other piece of the puzzle here is that this is a community space. This is Logos Circles. As per usual, here's kind of the flow of this conversation. We're going to talk to the Logos Circles leads, and we're going to give you guys some intel and downloads on what's happening on the ground in our communities. We're revivifying agency, bringing agency back into these communities, bringing the Logos network down to the ground, integrating with local communities, and figuring out how we can push the dial forward and help out these communities, and also resolve some of these massive governance failures that exist all around the world, right? So this is certainly about the quote unquote crypto ecosystem from a cypherpunk bent, but it's also about literally helping people who are in need and really want agency and want to have a return to values in their local communities. This is really like a reclamation of our birthright or our heritage as a species. That's the way I see it, at least. Cool. So then part one here is then we're going to talk to the Logos Circles leads, right? Or those in the local community who are leading a circle or a major part of the circle. And then after that, we can get into some discussion and some philosophy, and we can talk about a number of different issues. Whatever is important for the community, you guys can feel free to come up and we can have a conversation. So I think Ever got everything there? Roxana had her hand up earlier. I don't know if you wanted to add something before we actually start, my friend.
Yeah. Can we just bring James Saki as a speaker, please? So we can give you guys an update of what we've done last night with Ethereum London and mandates. It was quite interesting.
Yeah, I don't actually. He was in the chat earlier. I don't know if he dropped because he's just by his name. So maybe he'll come back up and we can add him to the chat here. Nice. Yep, I approved as well. Cool. All right. Without further ado, then I say we move on and we jump right into this. This is what you guys came here for, so we want to provide that value, and then we'll get into a bit of a discussion. So, Chair Roxana, whichever one of you guys. Also, we have M here with Barcelona, and we have TD as well. So we got a few folks, and there might be some more folks in the chat. I see that also lead circles if they want to come up and speak. You guys, you're more than welcome to if you have updates. If not, there's no obligation. But just note, everyone in the chat should note that we have multiple logo circles leads in this space right now. So this is just a testament to how large this movement is growing. We very much have a catalytic effort in developing this movement and actually creating change around the world. So whoever wants to start first, I'm not going to, be the bad guy and pick out the individuals. You guys can go ahead and just decide who wants to go, and we'll rock and roll.
I would say M, if you want to start with updates, and then James and I can talk a bit about London and what's happening here.
Oh yeah, for sure. Well, hi guys. Just wanted to say that first of all, today I got some updates related to a possible partner. I'm not gonna upfront to the whole situation, but these guys have hosted test nets for a lot of other networks, including Aptos, Sui. They also hosted for Solana back in the days, and they are hosting a lot of mainnets currently. So yeah, hopefully, hopefully we get to make them host for the test net, and they can help us improve in terms of security, or well, whatever is needed. That's what they said. um, they host for testnets, and they help the chains um, in whatever they need. So yeah, that would be the first point. Second point, tomorrow I will be launching an article on X related to one of the winnable issues that we have. I'll be talking with a friend of mine who has a crypto bakery, and we wanted to make him add traceability using, of course, not elaborated systems, but something like very basic, so people can track like the time, date, and element um, on their pastry. Something that, yeah, it kind of helps out for those who are obsessed with traceability. And third, on April, I will be planning an event with Zcash Barcelona, and it's related also with one of the winnable issues that came out from Barcelona circles. In this week, I will be going to one of their events to talk further about it. So, yeah, I think that's it at the moment. Aside of that, I finally made the guys from Rome post in the forum. So we know exactly what's going on in Rome. And yeah. By the way, I will be even more annoying nowadays. So you guys get to post on the forum, all right? It's part of my job. Please don't blame me if I'm annoying. That's my job. Thank you.
I appreciate that very much, Em. Everyone should be posting on the forum and using it, and that's even a reminder to myself that I haven't posted on the forum in a few weeks. Have you? That's to the greater you, not you specifically.
Yeah, I hear that. This is definitely a good reminder. I have failed in my duties to post on said forum. So we're going to boot back up the forum in full. I'm so glad you're doing that, full capacity. The forum is important, by the way. It's about memory and then being involved. So good stuff, Em. Thank you for that.
Even if you guys don't post on it, you can just give a like on the comments or posts that are there. It kind of helps, and let's say that it gives a mental incentive, maybe, like when you open up the forum and you see a notification, oh, chair have liked my post, cool, let's keep it going. It kind of helps.
Definitely, and there's a history that goes back years and years and years there. So, for context of what's being built now, what has already been built, people's thoughts around it, let alone research, can all be found there.
Sweet. Thanks for the updates, Em. Nice revelation. Cool. So who wants to go next on the chopping block?
Okay. It's happening. Chair, do you want to go first?
No, it's all you.
Okay. Oh, damn it. Okay. Hey guys. Quite a lot of stuff happening. I have a few things to share. One is we have parted ways with someone who was supposed to help us do the campaign around our winnable issue in London. However, as contingency plans and as we build for chaos, we have options in place, and we've decided to kind of scope out a more immediate campaign which we could do, very small, very much centered at more transparency from the government side, which I will be able to share more in a couple of weeks' time. And then the second one, a larger campaign to build the knowledge hub, but also to mobilize contributions from people in the circle that may want to, take a knack at doing research or compiling information that is already available online, um, and offer an additional insight, write articles, create or organize virtual or in-person events. So that's one. The other one is I had the actual pleasure of speaking to someone today who discovered he's building his master's degree at Heidelberg University in Germany, which is the oldest university in Germany, which also housed a lot of the brilliant philosophers, including Kant. I believe Kant actually was a professor there, if I remember correctly. The idea is that he's researching on alternative forms of governance with a specific focus on network state initiatives. And this is how he found logo circles, which is really great because it means that logo circles away from just farewell to Westphalia or from logos, the technology side, means the movement is getting more transparency now. So he's thinking of writing his master's thesis on this. It's very early stage. He likes what logos looks like. He likes the idea that there's a global community, and he's very interested in learning who are the people behind it, what's the vision, what are the discussions. So the idea is if if we have circle leads that would like to get involved and have a conversation with him, either in writing or just a video call. He's a very sweet guy, very young. Please ping me on any channel. I've shared with him a series of of works that have been done in the space, not necessarily by us, but also things that some of the community members have done. Unfortunately for me, I realized that I have mostly visibility on things that the Logo Circle members have done before, not necessarily what other circle members are doing across the world in some of the other Logo Circle initiatives. So that could be something that we could work on, to have a directory of things that people attending our circles, being members of our local communities, things that they do. Maybe they work in academia, maybe they write research, maybe they've built tools, maybe they've written books, right? It's always nice to maybe they have specific things that they share that are very ideologically aligned with Logos. So I really would like to slowly build up this library of things, and I'm putting Chris on I'm putting Chris on the spot here, but I hope, Chris, you could lead this and we could take it offline, but I'd really need your help. And for the circle leads, don't forget to come back and tell me if you'd like to speak to him. I think it's a great opportunity to help someone understand a bit the movement. And obviously, if I remember correctly, last year one of our targets was to get into the academic layer, to get into students researching it, professors writing about it, and all that. So we've managed to do that with JP, who's a professor at UCL. And he's mentioned Farewell to Westphalia, he's mentioned status in some of his research. And now we have this opportunity with a student in Heidelberg. The second one, the other update, I would love to invite James to kind of brainstorm about how the Crypto Mondays London and Ethereum London co-event worked out yesterday. We mentioned a lot of topics. There was some really good discussions on technology, but we've also mentioned the mandate around Ethereum, and the past, present, and future of Ethereum. So it was a very interesting conversation. And without putting you too much on the spot, James, if you want to share a few updates on that, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Perfect. Yeah, so yeah, I'm James. I have done different things before and I'm doing new things now. That's my abstract introduction. But more recently, I start running the Ethereum London group, amongst other workshops, and recently joined Logos. So for me, it was kind of manifesting that thought journey I went through from being mostly an Ethereum maxi to being still an Ethereum maxi, but within Logos. So yeah, that was sort of the talk I gave, which was after two other speakers. I got Kevin from the Ethereum, a researcher at the Ethereum Foundation, to give a talk on the roadmap. And then we had Michael from Starkware talking about ZK things that apply to Ethereum. And yeah, then followed with a panel, we had Roxana there and also Declan from Linear, however you say that. And yeah, we covered, I guess, yeah, like Roxana said, sort of a bunch of topics. I don't even know where to begin. What's sort of pertinent here? So yeah, the mandate came up in the sense that it kind of just validated what's happening here with Ethereum. Like I put it as a slide and I said, look, this came out a couple of days ago, but actually it's very much aligned with what's happening here. And I think someone from Logos told me it's actually the same as what was written in the status, some status document in 2018. Not so much maybe a mandate document, but yeah, the acronym of props was exactly the same as what's in status from 2018. So it's basically nice resonance of the same wavelengths, shall we say, or similar wavelengths. Maybe harmonic wavelengths is probably better. But anyway, I'm waffling a little bit, but yeah, I'm not sure what else to add. that's it for me for now.
James, was it the acronym itself or the general direction defined?
Yeah, like in the mandate, it had two key things. I'll just pull up my slide here that had the mandate on it. The first point was, here we are. The first aim is to ensure Ethereum becomes and stays a decentralized and resilient tool for self-sovereignty. Our first fundamental principle is that the user has the final say over their identities, assets, actions, and agents. So that's obviously very broad and sweeping. And then for the second one, it says, the second aim is scaling the guaranteed availability of self-sovereignty to users ready to exercise it directly. And for me, that speaks to the locally running browser. In my talk, I mentioned Mist browser, which was in the original Ethereum vision from 2014, but unfortunately was deprecated in 2019. And so that was something I tried to use at the time, and then it destroyed my laptop. Well, it just was too heavy to run after a while, and hence probably why it became deprecated. And the Ethereum Foundation focused on research. So yeah, to see that in Logos, that's sort of the, like, that's just the goal, like, is to start with a locally running piece of software that lets you run your dApps locally. It actually ticks that second mandate there. In terms of the acronym I was referring to, I think Vitalik must have tweeted it when he tweeted out the mandate. But yeah, I forgot exactly what it stood for.
Crops.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was exciting stuff.
I thought so. We had a question yesterday. We had a question from the audience about because in the answer we covered OFAC compliant blocks and some of the activities that you can do on the network being pushed into this OFAC compliance. And I think it gave us a really good opportunity to talk about having this ability to essentially not have block. How was it? To have a separation between block producers and block proposers and block proposals. So that would make a great argument for what we're building with Logos. So it's nice to see that slowly engaging with a more a mix of technical and non-technical audience. They some of their questions find their answers in the technology behind Logos, which is something that we're quite happy to see.
Nice. Thanks a lot, Roxana, James. Really good stuff. But I have a lot of, maybe we can get into this in the discussion piece. But, you know, we've gone on a number of different rants on a lot of the problems with Ethereum, and especially in terms of like node level layer censorship, right? And then being able to even comply is a problem with decentralization. Obviously a flaw there, something that needs to be rectified. And that's partly, right? This is partly why Logos went in the direction that it did. Again, that's a conversation we can have later and maybe more fully flesh out, because that's interesting. But James, seriously, thanks for your work and you know, really being Logos pilled. We very much appreciate it. So let's keep pushing the mission forward here, because we have a lot of work to do, right? And we can see that in the space, generally speaking. Okay, cool. Let's see. Oh man, our good friend Decca is here too. Hold tight, Decca. Let me make sure that Roxana and James got all the words out. Everything did you guys cover everything, Roxana, that you want to cover?
I think the only point left is tomorrow's private gathering, which will be a 5-hour event on sovereignty. And it will be a very interesting audience for us. And they gave me a 5-minute talk to present the Logos ideology right after the UK Parliament person. So that should be fun.
Man, like the Parliament level talk, that kind of stuff makes me extremely nervous. I can feel the PTSD like rising in my system. So Godspeed to you on that. Sounds fun. Cool. All right. Well, if you guys are golden, then we can continue. Of course, we can always come back and move around a bit with the conversation. Deca, you had your hand up earlier. Welcome, my friend. Deca, was so glad to see you, even if, albeit if it was briefly at PS. Welcome, brother.
Thank you, Sterling. Hi, everyone. I felt called into question by Em earlier, and I also wanted to provide a little take on the whole crops argument. So I thought I'd segue in over here, because actually I wanna address to crops or not to crops in the next circle, and I'll get to that in a second. But just I think, okay, crop stands for censorship, resistance, ownership, privacy, and security. And these are all things that are kind of, we give for granted that that's part of the mission of what we're trying to build towards. But I think the thing that divides a lot of people is, do we go for that stuff from the very beginning? Or do we allow ourselves to make trade-offs and postpone some of that stuff? So an example might be, I'm building an application. Do I build it using distributed private technology right off the bat that preserves these values? That's going to be much harder. I'm just building an MVP. The industry isn't there yet. The usability isn't there yet. I'm probably I'm not going to do it right away, and then I'm just going to do it later. So that's one argument. Like if you're too strict, all of the use cases that have been successful in blockchain, crypto, and Web3 have been making these compromises. On the other side of the aisle, we have people who say, if you compromise, it's a slippery slope, because it will never be comfortable to implement things the hard way. So if you don't do it today, then it's gonna be even harder, because right now you have a blank slate if you're starting your project. Then it becomes harder and harder to switch over because you always have something urgent to do. So that is like a really ardent debate. If you're like following crypto Twitter right now, following the Ethereum Foundation's mandate, this is a really interesting debate, and I definitely want to tackle it. So if I can keep going, I just wanted to also briefly touch on what the Rome Circle is doing. So the Rome Circle is born from Urbe, which is a group of builders. Basically, we just found each other, and it became a pole of attraction from, at first, everyone who was in Rome, but then also like a lot of people in Italy who were into these pretty much crops values, everything that blockchain and cryptography can enable, and who people who wanted to talk about crypto but not about like getting rich quick on crypto coins. And what I realized is that what we should do is not look for other unrelated winnable issues, but actually is, how do we empower Urbe to keep doing what they're doing? Because the group has 30 associates, and what we're doing there is mainly onboarding builders, not just developers, but just builders in blockchain and cryptography. So to date, it's been hackathons and boot camps and workshops and conferences and things of that nature. And right now, coming up, we have FarCon. So if any of you are familiar with Farcaster, actually, I think this is quite relevant. Jared Hope, in his opening speech at Parallel Society, he mentioned how unaligned the incentives are in the social media landscape. The algorithm that's specifically engineered to keep you stuck to the screen and to not let you escape from it, and to drug you with the dopamine overexposure. So Farcaster is attempting one approach to solving this. So FarCon is the yearly conference of Farcaster, and we're hosting that in Rome in May. So what we're gonna do next month is have an online logo circle to talk about decentralized social media. How should we be steering Farcaster? So we're gonna try and spread that to the Farcaster ecosystem. Some of the people who are building this ecosystem, which is, I think it's a great opportunity to bring the logos and the Farcaster ecosystem together. And how can we make the most of the IRL event in May? So this is what we're planning for the logo circle in Rome early next month.
Brother, extremely well said all around. Thanks for your work, and especially with the circle in Rome. I'm thinking about the possible combination, the power of the combination between Logos and Farcaster. I love that. Personally, love that approach quite a bit. The other thing you were mentioning, the discussion of the trade-offs in terms of like having maybe a developmental path for a particular technology, and then making trade-offs between, you know, possible privacy or decentralization or whatever the other trade-off may be. I think that is a worthy discussion we have. Maybe we can put a pin in that and have a discussion about that when we get to the discussion segment. I have a lot of thoughts on that personally, and just to briefly mention it. So my whole shtick is we should 100% be pushing an agenda of principle-centric design, right? So that we don't get caught in that trap of wanting to make trade-offs for privacy and censorship resistance, et cetera. But I want to be empathetic as well. I do understand that not everyone is in the like financial position or the budgetary position to roll out a technology or a technological stack or even an application and not get return on it very quickly, right? This is an unfortunate consequence or side effect of being embedded in an ecosystem, like an investor ecosystem, where the key stakeholders expect really quick returns. So of course now you're entering into like the lean startup model sort of mindset. Anyway, I can go on and on about this, and we can have a discussion, Deca, but I think that like being involved in that certainly pollutes the well a lot. Anyway, you can make a comment on it, and then we'll have to move on to the next person.
Yeah, just if I can like quickly give an example, like anyone who is building a user application right now, they need a database, right? If you're building an app, a website that you hope users will come on and use, you need a database. So what you do, you most likely use something like Supabase. It works out of the box. It's so easy, but it's something that right now I've been looking around. Are there options where I can have a database that is private and distributed? Because right now, if it's not encrypted and it's not distributed, I can like literally edit the data of my users. I can delete it, I can change it, I could have it stolen or hacked. Even if you encrypt it, okay, I can see it, but I can still delete it, I can still have it stolen. So you need something like logo storage, but logo storage is super low level. So like we want to build like database capability on top of logo storage. That's like a really concrete example. Like that right now there's no way around going the easy way, and you can't go the crops way right away because the tools aren't there. So it's about building those tools.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one of the reasons why we're just so focused on infrastructure. And if you're going to do infrastructure the cypherpunk way, you have to take your time, have proper development, have a proper R&D team built out, right? This is VAC and has been VAC, and just really focused on making this happen so people can build applications on top of Logo. Now, of course, we have Basecamp, where we have like a modularized kernel-based setup where people can come. Yes, okay, we'll get into this. Let's hold this thought, Deca, and we'll get back into it. Let's finish the updates, and then we'll maybe come back to this conversation. Okay, I want to let M comment real quick, and then we'll see where we're at.
Oh, well, I was actually going to continue the topic, but if you guys want, we can finish with the updates of the stewards, and then we go back to this topic, because I wanted to mention something, but I don't want to take much time.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let's put a pin in it, guys, and we'll come back to it. Because we have Moo, and we have Girl up here as well, and we also have TD. So whoever wants to go first and provide your updates, by all means, right now is the opportune time.
Hey, I think Girl was right ahead of me, but it's fine. I'll just jump in. Yeah, so I've got my circle coming up. My circle, the Cape Town circle that I'm hosting next week. That I'm very excited about. It's been really cool to see the interest. Something in the last week, a lot of interest, and now I'm having to consider closing registrations because I think the venue will be a little bit tight at this point. But I'm like, I don't know. I want more people. Not just that, but also having to carefully consider how I'm going to facilitate the session with a lot of people because obviously yeah, the dynamics are different with more people in the room. But I'm very excited. It's also cool that we have quite a diverse quite a diversity of people in the room with diverse interests and diverse backgrounds and skills. So yeah, it's going to be, I hope it's going to be great, and I'm looking forward to reporting back. That's it for me.
Nice. Yeah, this is amazing, and thanks for booting that up. Just a little bit of just a thought on this, by the way. When it comes to having, getting a loaded group and you start getting extra people who say they're going to come, of course, always bear in mind that a good chunk of those people, there's actually some numbers behind this, but some people likely just won't show up. So it's good to, you can have the numbers go over on the sign up. I forget I don't want to misquote the numbers, but there are some numbers around this.
Yeah, no, 100%. I've so the the capacity I'm working with is 30, and we're at 36 registrations already. So I'm watching those numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that number is probably fine right now. Like, not unlikely all those folks will show up, just the nature of the game. But yeah, it sounds like you're doing great. That's fantastic. Cool. All right. Thanks so much. Girl, I think you are next, my friend.
Hi
Welcome.
everyone. I'm still like post PS kind of wavy, to be honest. I just had such a good time. It was so nice to meet so many of you. But I've come back down to earth and just want to give you a bit of an update from Porto. So we, after speaking a little bit at a few of the, events, a wonderful woman in marketing, like a Web3 marketing, came up to me and said that she was going to take on the marketing for the campaign, the Safety in Numbers campaign. So that is mega in terms of just my output, because I'm a bit of a one-man band, and it's also because it's so personal as well in many aspects. It would be really nice just for someone else to take that over, and then I can spend my time on other things, which is going to be brilliant. The campaign, we go live tomorrow to all of the MEPs in Europe. So that's like mega, and I'm very excited about that. I'm also writing a little something for the press room at Logos. I don't know if I am coming in rather a whimsy manner, but I had such a brilliant time. Big shout out to everyone in the eco dev camp. I seem to have met everybody separately and was like, my God, who are these guys? They're all such legends and they're all part of one little place. So that was fantastic. I picked up my node. So there were also going to be musings from a normie on how to run a node. So I'm thrilled for that. And Roxana, I'm going to reach out to you because I thought what you're doing with your chat, wanting to base his masters on Logos and everything that's happening here, I think is incredible. So I'm putting my hand up to help your chap. And also I want to put you in touch with, I don't know if you've heard of the Scouse Oracle. She's doing amazing stuff in London, and I want to put you in touch with her because I think she would be a wonderful person to connect you with. And then what else? Yeah, no, I'm just so pumped, everyone. Parallel Society for me was some sort of spiritual healing. Shout out to Miss Mischief for curating such a wicked lineup. And honestly, everyone, I just like the ladies in HR. What a hoot. I just had such a vibe with so many of you. So it was just really, really nice to meet you all. And yeah, we are going to be having maybe a little online meetup for March, because our lovely little housing home, the house sort of fell through this month. But that's all getting back up, and yeah, doing all of that. That's it from me. Over and out. Thank you, and lovely to meet you all.
Great to hear from you again, girls. So happy that everything's moving forward. And also, it looks like some pressure is being redistributed from you there. That's always a good sign. As you continue forward, of course, don't hesitate to continue to reach out to us. I know that you have a lot of support in Porto, and in the area. Thanks for your work.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks very much. Thank you.
Sweet. All right, let's see where we're at now. I think we have TD to speak as well, and somebody else. Okay, we have Alisher. Oh, Pat. Okay, so let's start actually with, yeah, TD, if you have a thought or update with what's going down, my friend, you're welcome to chime in. Welcome to the stage.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yep, loud and clear.
Sorry, the dog. Yeah, so I am now an official steward for Lyon Circle. I've been onboarded by Amelia. So I'm going to start this circle about bees and beekeepers. It's going to happen in Lyon because it's the closer big city in France where we can do it. So I need to find now some circle mates, let's call them. And I have some in mind, but not 30 for sure. But we'll see. And also need to find some venue. And yeah, so eager to report on that at some point. Late April probably is going to happen, because the next 4 weeks I'm not really available. And yeah, that's it for me. Again, so nice to meet many of you at Paris Society. And yeah. Leaving the next the floor for the next speaker.
Yep, thanks, TD. Appreciate the succinctness, but more than that, really appreciate the fact that you're pushing forward with the circle. I think the beekeeping and the apiary piece, anything related to biological healing and planetary well-being is extremely important. I've talked a lot about that personally in my own spaces and broadcasts. So thank you for your work. And of course, we can get into maybe down the road, get into the technical side of that and how the technology stack at Logos can actually facilitate what you're working on. I think censorship resistant communication is a really important part of some of these efforts like yours. Cool. All right, we have our good friend Pashal. I think it's been Pashal a little time. You're based in Lisbon, if memory serves, correct? Sorry, there's so many folks now. That makes me happy anyway.
No, it's Pascal. I'm based in Nigeria.
Nigeria. Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah. Hi everyone. So I'm here to give report on Benin Circle that we had last week. Not last week, but 8th of March, which was very wonderful, and we were able to solve some winnable issues. Although it was small, but I guess it was worth it. So one of the winnable issues we were able to solve was one of our member was sick, so we had to donate and pay for his hospital bill, which everybody contributed and was able to pull it off. So the next one was few of the students that were in our circle having issues with where they will be reading for their exams, which most of the classes were occupied. So we had to make preparation for where they will fix the electrical issues that the place was having and all that. So that was the two winnable issues we were able to resolve during our last Benin circle. And we are also moving forward to solving other things that we have on board as the circle is moving on. So that's basically what we did during our last circle, and I guess we did not do too much, but it was quite reasonable and wonderful. So yeah, that's basically it. So I'm leaving the room for the next person to take over.
Sweet. So, just out of curiosity, Pascal, are you guys? So you guys are gonna the circle's gonna move on. Does that mean you guys are thinking about another possible winnable issue, or it needs to just reconstitute with a different group?
Oh no, we have like issues that we are actually working on, but then those two came up like an emergency during our last circle, so we have to like solve them and resolve them so that we can continue with what we were actually working on.
Right,
So, yeah.
Roger that, my friend. Thanks for the update, Pascal. I know it's been a while, so, sorry I had forgotten the location, but really appreciate you. Let us know if you need any help, or I know you speak with Amelia fairly regularly, so we're here for you, my friend. Keep pushing forward. Cool. All right, let's see. Chair, if you have any comments on where we're at and where we want to go, it seems like we probably had all the speakers in, a lot of updates. We're going to have to expand the time frame for the space because we just have so many logo circles now.
Yeah, it's good. No, this is great. Really happy that we have full stage. And certainly, if you're not on stage and you'd like to be, get on up. Quickly, actually, Muriel, I saw you had your hand up, and now it's not.
Yeah, I don't want to jump ahead of the queue, but I forgot that I really wanted to express a bunch of gratitude, because I had a really good time meeting people and experiencing and just getting to know the Logos environment and, well, the Logos world, and I just, yeah, I'm so grateful. Yeah, it's just super interesting. I feel more stimulated than I have in many years. Yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot, especially to have met all the people who are hiding behind strange usernames and no faces on their discords. So it's great to actually meet people. And I'm just sorry to have not met the stewards who weren't able to make it. But I look forward to other opportunities to meet everyone. The other thing I wanted to say is I wanted to ask whether you guys had considered doing topical circles as opposed to just kind of regional location-based circles, because like I think David's B issue is such a great idea, but it's relevant globally, not just locally, and there are many other awesome topics that could be explored at a global level. Yeah, just something to float. That's all.
Muriel, amazingly well said. I think okay. This is actually a longer discussion too, with regard to because you're 100% right, that issue, and we're going to see that a number of different issues that logo circles are able to surface are also going to be potentially global issue or international issues that we could tackle. But I think one of the main reasons why we're focused on local communities, aside from the fact that there's a lot of agency that's been lost, right, in local communities because a lot of these individuals don't have access to institutions that can actually generate change or that even care to generate change. So being able to help on a local level works as a really nice test bed so that we can tackle these issues, and then so it's like a proving ground. That does not mean that at some point these circles expand and then they have a model that can be replicated other places around the world, and then effectively it gets tackled globally. And this is just me thinking out loud, by the way. This isn't something that Logos has officially implemented, just a thought process, but it is sort of the reason why we're focused on local communities and local initiatives. So I hope that helps, but this is certainly by no means the end of that discussion. We can continue having that, and you should definitely keep mentioning, maybe even make a post in the forum, Muriel, perhaps on that topic, because I think it's something that we haven't discussed quite enough. So really well said.
Yeah,
Good
thanks.
point.
If I can just jump in, sorry. On the forum, I also wanted to ask, I haven't been using it at all. I've just been kind of posting my questions in the Discord. Question, should I rather post in the forum and not so much the Discord server?
So I think the Discord's really important. The forum, maybe if you want something that's in long form that also has more of like a discussion, like an ongoing discussion, it's probably good for that. But you can also post it for discussion in the Discord. I don't think there's anything wrong with using both channels. But I personally, this is just my personal thought, right? You know, I think the forum is better for a longer form discussion that is easier to keep for it in perpetuity, right? Maybe Chair has and Roxana have another thought too.
I think the forum it's another option, and as Sterling said, it's something that gets better encapsulated and is searchable over time, especially a year from now. Like, good luck unearthing a Discord message from last week. So, if you need immediate answers on things, I think the Discord is best, and we acknowledge and understand the terrible, terrible surveillance-based tool that Discord is. So we know that's why we love status. But if you need something within the minute or 10 minutes, Discord is certainly better. There is a logos community, of course, on the status app. And for things that need like longer form, longer tail, is that a word? A discussion, the forum is. I prefer the forum because I can search for posts from 7 years ago and find them there. I hope that provides clarity instead of more confusion. I have a quick LA Circle update, and I see M and Alishar have their hands up. And TD. Okay, I'll go real quick. I have a list. Number 1, Deca. Are you still with us? Maybe. Yes. Okay. I posted the RFP, the request for proposal repo, and the ideas repo in the comments to this, on this space thread. Probably like an idea first or RFP. I don't know. I think you are very capable of navigating the best way to go forward, but I'm very excited about a DB built on top of Logo Storage. I think that's exactly what is needed and what people are looking for.
Yeah, I've already published it, and we've been having a back and forth. I raised the GitHub issue and proposed the way forward, and I'm waiting for a response from Guru.
Beautiful, thank you, and yeah, keep after it. And amazing. I'll make sure I'll get that spread out here after the space. All right, the LA plan is TLDR is we're getting back to the basics. One thing I learned, I mentioned this last week, so I won't go over it too much again, but the Quinto de Mocho group that was at the live in-person logo space during Parallel Societies on day one completely reframed and reshaped the way that I want to approach the Los Angeles Circle. I think we've had amazing discussions. We certainly have amazing members and people, and I'm really thrilled about where we're at that point. I'm also thrilled about where we're at technically, is that we have the let's call them the tech lead for the LA Circle was running a testnet v0.1 Logos node the day that it launched last week. And I know we will
I
have
don't know if
more
it's
node
just
runners.
me, but you're breaking up, my friend.
Oh no, hold on.
I think you're both breaking up. Yes.
Yeah, I'm with us. You were breaking up a bit, probably just for me though. I wonder if it's because of our like multi-stream craziness that we have going on right now. Yeah, give me just a minute. I'm gonna reboot X and come back.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Hi, friends. So I want to share my experience on building app for Logos Basecamp. So yeah, I was really inspired. I posted one idea, and then I decided, why not? I will try to build it. So at first, I'm not a coder, I'm a designer, but somehow I managed. I had 3 days in a small room in Riga with my laptop, and I managed to build up with help of AI agents. So I made them concurrent with each other, review each other code. I teach them on all what status and logos written on all code bases, like all apps, all even third-party repos. And yet it worked. So basically, for now, I have app running in Basecamp. It's notes app. It's encrypted notes app, and you encrypt them with a key from keycard. So you basically use keycard as secure element, and if you pull out the keycard, app closes, and you need to put keycard back again to continue working on your notes. Yeah, so very cool, very easy. And yeah, so for now, we live in time when everything basically possible. So if you have an idea, if you have understanding what architecture you want to do, if you know why you're doing something, it's all possible. Thank you. Yeah, it's also all on GitHub, and I documenting it, and I writing knowledge base. So basically, if you want to build something, you may want to check what I have and start from there, because yeah, I already have some really cool artifacts. So packages and running apps and encryption and hardware connection. So everything works. Thank you. Yeah, I'll do it.
He's just a listener. He's just a listener, I think.
Alicia.
It's probably a glitch.
Hello? Yeah, no, just quickly wanted to come back on Muriel's question about a local circle addressing global issues. So I asked the question to Amelia, and she said that at the moment it's not the right or the advised path, because first we need a winnable issue that we can tackle quickly. And if it is a global one, maybe it's not going to be winnable just quickly. And second, she wanted to keep the idea of the circle on site, I mean in person. And so for that also you need local group. So just the take I had from Amelia. And also about the forum, I do agree with the chair and Sterling about the discussions being more accessible after some time. I spent some time on the forum just liking for now, and you can retrieve very old posts that are still very relevant and interesting. So yeah, that's it for me.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Nice. Yeah, I had to, because I was having internet connection, I had to shut the stream down, but it looks like everything is good, I hope now. So anyway, thanks for continuing there, Chair. Please continue where you're at, and then we'll go back into it. I think, by the way, guys, we'll probably go for another 20 or so minutes because we still have a discussion point we'll maybe get back to. Nah, brother, it's all good. We are co-hosting together, right? You got my back when my laptop dies and my internet dies altogether. We got to keep the show going, right? So if I get hit by a bus tomorrow, we have Chair with an S on his chest to save the day. Okay. We always need a chair to prop us up properly. Sweet. All right. Yeah, guys, we can have a bit of a discussion here too. If you guys, Decca, if we want to go back to this conversation, I think a couple of other folks may have had some points. And just for anyone who has recently joined the chat, what we were discussing is really the concept of trade-offs when developing privacy-centric tech, censorship-resistant tech, cypherpunk tech, because all the tools and the technologies, especially on an infrastructural level, are not really fully developed, and a lot of the different quote-unquote crypto ecosystems have a lot of gaps and a lot of technical debt, right, that has to be accounted for. So Deca I think has a really good point that I think a lot of people have just tried to do their best with the tools that they have available to them, but a lot of work still has to be done. And this is one of the points of Logos and having Logos Bootcamp and the Logos technology stack, is it so that we can have a new infrastructure, a new infrastructural layer for people to develop truly unstoppable applications, right? So anyway, Deca, I'll let you go from here. And I think I forget who else had some points they wanted to make in view of this topic.
Yeah, I mean, Em, did you want to go ahead? I know that before you didn't speak in order to let the circle stewards go on with their recaps.
Oh, well, yeah. I just did some research related to Nostr, I would say that Nostr will be a good example for it, since it's all complete infrastructure. Most of the profit, I think it comes from Primal and probably some other social media apps that use Bitcoin on Lightning Network as some sort of incentive for content creators. And I mean, like, most of the profit, I think it came from investment from Jack Dorsey. I think it was like a public investment or something like that. um so I would say that maybe I don't know much. Maybe you guys can find a better solution. But if we used something like Lens, but of course rebuilt in the logos stack, do you think it could have even more value than what Lens already has, since Lens is not private?
So I guess that question was just generally for the group M, for those of us probably more familiar with Logos and the Logos stack.
Yeah, well, I will say, yeah, related to the logo stack, and probably if you guys are into Lens, know exactly like what could be an advantage if Lens, for example, was built on top of logos.
I mean,
So
Sterling, do you wanna go first?
I mean, you're good, Roxana. I just don't know very much, really nothing about Lens.
So Lens, if I remember correctly, is a social media platform where you log in, where you identify as the wallet. Is that the project you're referring to?
Well, yeah, I mean, Lens could be like the Ethereum version of Nostr. You have an NFT that represents a profile, which allows you to, yeah, plug it with a wallet and unlock all the perks that comes with it. For example, every single social media platform on Web3 allows you to get value from your content, and like it solves I don't remember if it was 50 or 500 billion dilemma of extraction from companies using our data. So yeah, that's basically it.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay, got it. Sorry. No. So there were talks a couple of years ago about this idea of account bound tokens. So essentially, they're non-transferable NFTs. And it wasn't a perfect standard. I think the Ethereum Foundation was looking to build it to make it like the NFT becomes the wallet itself, right? So when you transfer the NFT, you transfer all the assets that come with the NFT itself. So the NFT is the wallet. And Lens protocol tied that to a specific user account and identity. So the idea was you wouldn't be able to transfer your account, you wouldn't be able to migrate it to another wallet. That NFT was the account, that was the identity, and that was also the kind of your your login into the Lens ecosystem. The problem with that, if I remember correctly, was that like if you're gamifying and you have a game, it makes sense. And when you exit completely, right? So it has an interesting concept around exit, because you can't just sell your NFT, or you can't just transfer it because you lose everything. So when you have an exit, it's a pure exit. You can't retain any of that history. You're completely letting go of it. Um, the the good part about Lens, if I remember correctly, a friend of mine was using it. It was the engagement was very good at the time. It's about 2 years ago compared to X. Obviously, the size of X is different. The size of, even as Twitter, it was quite different compared to Lens. I tried it. For me, it didn't make much sense because for me, something like X gives me the amplification, the distribution that I need to spread a message to the masses and from the masses to get interest, which I didn't get on Lens. On Lens, it was like same as Farcaster, very much niche focused. I think they use Polygon or something. The problem for us would be, well, we do have status. So status is not just a private messenger. It is a social media platform. You can token gate communities. You have a wallet. You have a unique emoji string which identifies you without revealing who you are. You have the wallet is the identifier. You can use keycard, smart card to provide additional security and log in, log off into your application. So for me, the best kind of security, privacy, and usability package would have been status versus just Lens. That's just me. Nothing against them, just from the perspective of what I would use based on the needs I have and based on the technology that gets me excited and the security needs that I have on chain, I would probably opt for status.
Nice. Thanks for the insight too, Roxana, into Lens. It looks like TD, you have a comment on this as well.
Yes. Well, I've used Lens a bit. I've used Noster and Farcaster too. And so first, I didn't know that Lens was using soulbound tokens, but definitely on Lens, everything is NFT, accounts, connections, posts, likes, even. And it needs to scale. So on a blockchain, I don't know, but yeah, on status, definitely more relevant. And about posting on multiple platforms, Lens has been acquired now by a company called Firefly, I believe. And on this platform, you can link multiple accounts. For example, you can link to X, to Blue Sky, and you can make one post directly to multiple platforms. So, for example, if status would be integrated in something like this, would be cool. But also with status, you have Matter Bridge, which can bridge from Signal to status to Twitter, no, not to Twitter, to Discord. So this is also cool to make multi-posts with different approach than Firefly. But so yeah, that's it for social media. But also I think we deviated from the subject of building crops by I don't know, by nature or by default first. And on that approach, yeah, I do agree that it's very difficult, especially for non-technical people. But one insight I heard from Václav some time ago in a YouTube video you can find again is what is build a local first. And if you do local first, you solve a lot of, you put away some hard problem first, and then once you try to make the different local application communicate with each other, you can address the more complicated problems. So some recent projects which kind of take off are DDocs, using that. Personally, I also use a lot of standard note, which is the same, like by default, you have a local database, and once you log into an account, it's going to spread to your online account. But, I mean, standard node, it is centralized, but for example, for DDocs, it's using IPFS, I believe, but you can use IPFS to distribute your content. But yeah, I've gone on long enough. But yeah, again, social media strategy, probably multi-platform is one way to look at it. Bridge also from Matter bridge that was used for status, and yeah, for building yeah, with the crops I don't know, framework. Yeah, definitely hard, and looking forward to this database ID that you are having, Deka.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, okay, so I guess we're talking about crops in the context of decentralized social media, or just social media in general. So like, we've been talking about Lens, we've been talking about, I mean, I mentioned earlier Farcaster, X, like Roxanne, I don't know, like Status, I didn't know that was currently active as a social media, but maybe I need to look into it more. Yeah, that would be really cool. My understanding is that, okay, it depends how we look at crops. Like, are we looking at crops in terms of, and again, just as a reminder for everyone, we're talking about crop stands for censorship resistance, ownership, privacy, and security. Okay, are we aiming to, like, when we talk about crops or not crops, are we talking about, should we implement these now at all costs, or are we allowed to implement them gradually? It's because the EF mandate talks about this. Or another way to look at it is, to what degree do we need to implement these? So famously, Farcaster is based on the principle of being sufficiently decentralized. So you have sort of the identity layer, the FIDs that live on chain, and they connect to data off chain, and they have hubs and like different ways of setting that up. Whereas something like Lens, it runs on I think on their own Ethereum layer 2, and that introduces a lot more friction. Then like, so like, yeah, that's one conversation. I think in general, like, all of these are great experiments, and in a way I get Roxana's point, and I actually use X more than Farcaster, but I also force myself to use it. It's kind of like dogfooding the technology, because it is trying to do something that is harder. When you don't have a centralized server, you have redundancy across your system. Like, reaching the same level of scalability is much harder. Plus, you're trying to make things secure, and like every aspect of the tech stack decentralized. That is infinitely harder. So reaching the same level of performance is going to be harder. They're not going to be focusing as much on outreach. You have, like, there's a bunch of drawbacks. So it is a bit of like a sacrifice, kind of like any decentralized tool. I don't know if you guys have tried using like Fileverse instead of Google Drive. It's a bit more painful, but you kind of support it because that's
But it
what
feels
gets.
really good when you use it.
Yeah, you're helping getting the technology up to that same level, which is objectively harder. So I don't know, like, I'm all for it. And also, actually, there are some silver linings. Like, when I'm using Farcaster, the conversation is much more like real conversation, as opposed to like clickbait and farming. Like on Farcaster, people tend to know each other and more, and so it tends to be like, I'll ask a question. And by the way, I don't want to like blow the horn of Farcaster. It's just like the one that I use simply because my community happens to be really into it. And it's like your sports team. You grow up with with like the people around you supporting that one, and you end up using that one. So I'm not saying it's better than Lens or any other, but like, let's just compare them as a whole to the status quo, to like the big one, which is X. Okay, I think using these newer platforms can introduce more friction, but it can also have some interesting things like some interesting aspects where the fact that it's niche means that you can find like more genuine conversation. You can actually achieve, meeting someone online with the kind of thing that is pretty much, I don't know, impossible on X. I don't know. But then there's also like the wider conversation about crops beyond decentralized social. So I don't know. There's so many rabbit holes we can go down. I'm gonna stop here.
Yeah, Deca, just a few thoughts, and we probably should start winding down pretty quick but this should be an ongoing conversation. The thing that comes to my mind too is specifically on when it comes to socials and any kind of social media platform, just aside from the technology and the technology stack that's used to facilitate it, trying to get the network effects of people on these platforms has also been notoriously difficult, right? Because if you don't have large enough communities, sure, you can have like maybe your niche communities and the few nerds who have dedicated themselves to said platform, but even those communities will eventually dry up and they'll fizzle out over time if more people aren't using it and adding value to the network, right? This is something that happened, by the way. There used to be a platform, I don't know if you remember it, called Float, that had popped up like in the libertarian communities, and it was, touted being decentralized, more privacy, also had like a cryptocurrency wallet built into it. Some people here probably haven't even heard of it, but it ended up dying out for various reasons. I think part of it ended up kind of being a little bit sketchy to some degree, and so you have those kinds of issues. So building a truly decentralized, censorship resistant social media platform that also has good UI and good UX is a Herculean task, right, of monumental proportions, aside from just thinking about crops. So, but yeah, like you said, Deca, we can expand this and discuss this from a lot of different angles. I think overall, the main point that we kind of discussed stands, where we really just need the infrastructure to provide the necessary and sufficient conditions for truly unstoppable, censorship resistant, privacy centric applications to be built on top of, right? And talking about Logos, this is like Logos Basecamp. There are other people that are working on sort of similar things, but we really need this in order to build these applications the way that we want to, while having like a hope, a meaningful hope of people to opt into those platforms and actually use them. Because if we wanted to use like a niche platform, probably leveraging one of these other tools or applications that we've talked about works just fine. But if we want to go to like where the conversation's at, that's part of the reason we're on X. And I know that we all hate it, right? It's not great. This is a super centralized platform. Obviously, we could still get censored at any time. There's a tremendous amount of risk, even for a lot of our folks. But it's where the conversation, of course, is right now. It's like where most of the crypto, quote unquote, Web3 people are. But yeah, we don't really like it. And if we can actually build the alternative and it ends up being Logos that alternative is built on top of, or whatever the case is, that would be the dream, right, or the goal. And this is, again, just talking about the context of social media. But of course, there are other applications and use cases that we can think about in terms of crops. That is pretty cool, by the way, that the Ethereum Foundation actually made that a primary focal point or framework for development moving into the future, because obviously there's a lot of issues in terms of censorship and other privacy concerns with the Ethereum ecosystem, although we can give them credit for trying, at least in some domains. TD, you also have a comment or a thought, and then we'll wind it down after you go, friend.
Yeah, no, just about coming back to what Deca was saying about the filtering of the content on the platform. Makes me think of my use of Blue Sky and Noster. I mean, on those platforms, you really find content, in my point of view, that really interests me. And especially on Noster, you have an article section and on top of the post section. So if you long form, what I find are really relevant, and also about the probably because I follow fewer people, the content is much more relevant than X, but there is a lot of noise. But yeah, thanks for the discussion and giving back maybe the floor to Chair who has his hand up.
Yeah, I think like short, medium, long term, right? For like let's call them alternative social media, just other social media. Like, I agree. I used Farcaster quite a bit last year, and I watched I watched Declench just become, in my opinion, the star of Farcaster. So that was fun. Farcaster is its own thing, just like X is its own thing, just like Nostr is its own thing. I do encourage everyone, if you have the ability and the time, to use them, to spread them, especially talk about logos there. In the medium term, as was discussed throughout the space, building on top of logos or utilizing logos to have better solutions than what's currently available. And like probably Nostr is the closest to the sort of unstoppable, uncensorable paradigm that we're looking for. But close but no cigar. Personally, I am really suspicious of what's his name, Manicius Moldbug, Moldy Moldbug. What's his? Yarvin. Yeah, weird dude. But sometimes eloquent. But long term, I'm excited for the solutions to be on logos so that we can use something that we truly know is uncensorable and unstoppable. And if I pissed you off that I said something bad about Curtis Yarvin, good. Let's argue about it on a different space. There was another thing, and then I had got mold bug in my head. What was the other thing? Now, well, short, medium, long term. Short term, use them all. Medium term, build on logos. Long term, we will have what we actually want on logos.
Yeah, well said. I think Chair too, I'll use this as a perfect time to close it out. So I think everyone here knows that we are just absolutely surrounded by the prison walls of a panopticon-based surveillance state apparatus that will stop at no ends to continue building said prison walls up around us. But of course, there's no ends to the amount of words on X and many other platforms that have went towards sort of the black pill basis of the reality that we live in. And that's why we're here at Logos. That's why we have these spaces. That's why we've been working on building these communities, because it's not just about the black pill and the negativity and everything's going to shit. I think we all know that. So what we're looking for, and we're trying to cultivate a community of people who are trying to not only find the solutions, but also find the people who are building solutions and also the people who are trying themselves to build solutions, right? This is what Logos is all about, trying to work to building the solutions, because we understand it's a bit of a paradox, right? Everything is quote unquote going to shit, but as it goes to shit, what that means is the governance systems that have dominated the old regime, right? The ancient regime is beginning to fall apart of its own discord, right? It's breaking down, and we have to be there to replace it. We have to build the infrastructure for that, the people communities, the informal networks, the agorist networks, and the different elements that comprise a new kind of society that has a more healthy view of the way that humans can organize and coordinate and work together. And I think this is all why we're here. This is why we're pushing this particular vision forward. And that's why Logos is working so hard to develop a partner, a coalition group of partners who are building toward this end. And I think it's an amazing thing. And I'm really happy that you are all here and you're part of it. So thank goodness for you. Thank goodness we're pushing forward. So guys, as we close up here, I want to thank everyone who came into this space, especially you guys who are really embedded in the community and are OGs and have just, you've stayed with it from the beginning or from whichever part you entered into the community from. Thank you for being here. So special thanks to co-host Chair here, who's always here to prop me up, right? But he's also here to prop you up. So appreciate you very much. And Roxana, who's just consistently here with the updates from London Circles, plus she just has a plethora of knowledge. We appreciate the speakers who came up, and also Logo Circles leads, we have Moo, we have TD, who's booting up a circle. Oh gosh, we had Pascal in here earlier. We had some other folks too, but my brain is fried now, guys, so you have to totally excuse me. Thanks also to Decca, who came up here and really opened up a great avenue for discussion. I hope we can continue having that discussion into the future. Also, of course, thanks to the OGs who are listening in the space. OW, D Clinch, of course, here with Logos, Syndrome. Oh yeah, Girl was up here earlier about her circle in Porto. Thank you for being here, Girl. Matthew in the space. We have Marina here. Alisher, thanks for coming up and speaking. We have Layla. We also have Mariana with Logos Network, Cecilia, Polis. Thanks, guys. We really appreciate you. We're going to keep doing this next Thursday. Actually, by the way, I will be in London. I'm flying from Lisbon to London tomorrow morning, actually, to be part of Unruly Capital's seminar. I'm doing a 10-minute presentation there on the new sovereignty thesis. It's going to be an amazing event. I think Roxana actually will be there as well. Some other folks from our circles. We're also anticipating Sealand, who is with us and are good friends of mine, should be there as well. So again, guys, yep, thanks so much. We'll see you on Thursday. I believe we're going to have Francesco on from Unruly Capital this Thursday. So get ready for that. We're going to try to do the space with him in person. I'm going to meet up with him. So good shit, guys. Thanks so much. This is a Logos Network. We have Chair, Roxana, the whole community. Man, guys, we really love it. Cheers and peace out. Goodwill among peoples.